Story 3 takes place July 17th, 2012, about a month after the Apocalypse tour, when I met Darren Chris's other half. And by Darren Chris's other half, I mean Blaine Anderson's other half. And by that I mean the actor who portrays Kurt Hummel, who is Chris Colfer. Now, after the Apocalypse tour and actually meeting and conversing with people, I wouldn't actually consider this meeting Chris Colfer, but I was still about 2 inches away from him, so it's pretty close. Literally, the night before Chris Colfer was in New Jersey for his book signing, I texted my friend and I was like, Chris Colfer is going to be in New Jersey tomorrow. We should go to his book signing. This was an incredibly last-minute plan between me and my friend who went to the Apocalypse tour and J-Moms with me, because apparently we do everything together. But I texted her and I was like, this needs to happen. We need to see Chris Colfer, and he needs to sign our books. It took like an hour of planning, but I finally convinced my mom to drive us the 40 minutes to the town that he was going to be signing books in. After my friend got out of work the next day, my mom and I went to pick her up, and we drove to Bookends to get Chris Colfer to sign our books. We were really last minute, and I have no idea how it worked out. However, we get there a couple hours early, and the line is already really long. But by the time we were supposed to go in to get the book signed, the line was like 10 times longer. Which, by the way, was 45 minutes late, because Chris Colfer was late because he did have 4 talk shows in New York City that day, so I don't blame him. He was probably really tired. So my friend and I, we go inside with our 3 new friends that we made that day, because we just make friends everywhere. And it's a small bookstore, so the upper level is where all the books are, and then there's just this hole in the middle accompanied by stairs that go down. And I guess this bookstore is known for having special signings, because this is like a special book signing area. So we go downstairs and we see Chris Colfer, and my friend and I just break down in tears. I tried to take a picture of him, but my hand was shaking, because this didn't happen with Joe Moses or the members of Team Star Kid that I met. So why it was happening with Chris Colfer, I have no idea. But on the way driving to this bookstore, I quickly wrote down a note. I get up to him, I hand him the note, and he's like, "Oh, thanks, sweetie," because he calls everyone sweetie. "I can't wait to read it. Put this with the other ones," because obviously he has lots of notes. And then he signs my book, and we're on our way. But the people at this bookstore were incredibly rude. I mean, I get that they wanted to move it along, and I'm sure there were a lot more people than they were anticipating being at this little tiny bookstore. But they were just so rude. Like, my friend, she went to say an extra 2 words or something to Chris, and the guy literally pushed her. She almost fell into a bookcase that was standing right next to her. They were just so rude, and ugh. I'm surprised Chris didn't say anything, because he just seems like the kind of person that would say something. But anyway, I did have a 2-second encounter with Chris Colfer that did result in this.
So cool in line, and we try, but we try too hard, and it's a waste of my time. Done looking for the critics, cause the ads are red. They don't like my jeans, they don't get my head. Change yourselves, and we do it all the time. Why do we do that?
Okay, I can do it. I can do it.
Funky myself. It's all good.
Good, I have this for you.
Ryan, there. Yeah, he's a celebrity.
Thank you.
was on June 1st, 2013 in New York City. I was actually alone for this one. My friend who usually accompanies me couldn't come with me, but she really wanted to, so I just had. But I did meet up with one of my friends from J-Moms because she was actually the one who convinced me to go, because I really wanted to go to this and no one else would go with me because no one else could or no one else wanted to, and she was like, I'm going alone too, go and we can meet up with each other. So I did, and I hung out with her, so it was fun. But this event was DigiFest, which is kind of like a 7-hour concert thing for YouTubers, only not really a concert as much as a variety show, I suppose. It started at 3 in the afternoon and went until 11 at night, so it was kind of insane. My friend who I was meeting there actually wasn't online with me because she had a VIP ticket, like she always does, so she got in an hour early, so I was online alone. And this other girl was online alone, so somehow we ended up talking, and she was like, who are you here to see? And I said, Joey Graceffa. Just so happens that was the only person she was there to see, which was really a coincidence, because I don't know how we would have been friends otherwise had she not liked Joey. But I was also there to see Casper Lee and Sam Pepper and Louis Cole. So at 3 o'clock we end up going in, and I'm like, oh, I'm actually here with my other friend, so we should probably go find her. So we did, and the three of us hung out. But then my J-Mom's friend had to leave because she was going to see Annie that night with her dad. And so it was just me and my other new friend. And we were there, we were enjoying ourselves, and then Louis Cole came on, and I was like, oh, can we go down to the first floor and see this because I really like him? He was like, sure, yeah, let's go. So we go down. Louis, being one that eats disgusting things, of course, ate disgusting things, and seeing it in person made me want to throw up. But I didn't, and I am really surprised with myself. And then after Louis, Joey came out, and we both started like crying, and then he said a few words and then played his Anna's Son music video, and we got to see that before he put it up on YouTube, and it was really cool having an exclusive view of something because I've never had that, and I've always wanted to go to an exclusive premiere of sorts, so that was kind of almost that, and I felt special again. And so after Joey performs, we're like, okay, what are we gonna do for the next 4 hours? I don't know. Let's just go on a walk and come back later to see Sam and Casper. So we go on a walk around the block, and we come to the back of the building, and there's a little group of people there waiting by an open door. We were like, oh, is this the backstage? And two people who I am now also friends with, because I just make friends everywhere, were like, oh yeah, someone just came out, and we were like, oh, who was it? And they said Joey Graceffa. So of course my new friend and I just started screaming and shouting and cursing our luck because we just really wanted to meet him. And they were like, oh, it's fine, he'll probably come out again anyway because he's gonna leave from this side, right? So we're like, yeah, I mean, I guess. So there's the four of us and then a bunch of other people, but they eventually leave, so it's just the four of us, and we just stayed there for the rest of the concert until 11 o'clock at night because we just really didn't have an interest in watching the rest of it when we could meet people that come outside for a break from the performances or whatever they were doing. So we're just sitting there talking about things. Then JC Kalen comes out and is like, wow, I thought there'd be a lot more of you. And we're like, well, we're the only cool enough people to be here for you. And my friend, the one that I had made online, was like, I don't know who you are. And he's like, you don't know who I am? And she's like, yeah, sorry. And he says, I'm Kian Lolly. Look me up on YouTube. So obviously she's like, oh, okay, that's fine. And I didn't know who he was either, but I wasn't gonna tell him that. So we take selfies with him, me and my 2 friends that did know who he was, even though I didn't. And then we have a conversation with him. He asks us our names. I doubt he remembers them. And it was a really, really casual conversation, and it lasted a really long time. Then he goes back inside, and my 2 friends turn to my other friend and go, that was JC Kaylin. And she was like, but he said his name is Keen Lolly. Why wouldn't he tell me his real name? Wouldn't he want a new fan? Like, I was about to go look him up on the internet and become a fan of his. Why would he do that? And she got so pissed, and I honestly don't know why. But yeah. So I was expecting Kian Lolly and Sam Potterf to come out too, but they didn't. And that made me sad. Even though I didn't really know who they were. But now I do. So more time passes and we're sitting on the streets of New York, and then we make friends with the security guard. His name was Kevin, and he was really cool. But some other YouTubers come in and out through the doors. We didn't really care about them. I don't know, it was just weird. I felt bad after they'd walk away, but then later more people come around and everyone's like, Sam and Casper just performed. They should be coming out soon. So we wait, and then we see Casper Lee's face through the open door, and everyone just takes in a collective breath and squeals, and the security guard shuts the door. Apparently, Sam Pepper didn't want to talk to us. I mean, Casper and Sam had apparently had this conversation where they were debating whether to meet us or not, and Casper was like, yeah, they're here for us, we should meet them, and Sam's like, no, I really, really don't want to, so let's not. And, you know, being friends with the security guard, I got information like this, so that's what he said they were talking about. But Casper comes out and takes pictures and talks to people. He's like, guys, I'm sorry, I'm really pressed for time. And I didn't get a picture with him. I think he took a picture with everyone except me. And Sam comes out and rushes him to the car that was waiting for them. And I started crying. Like, I actually started crying. Because I love Casper Lee, and I wanted a picture with him, but I didn't get one. And Sam was just an asshole, but I can't bring myself to hate him, and I really hate that about myself, because I really he was so rude. We were so disappointed. But then there were these creepy girls that got in a cab and followed them, and someone got out of the car, whether it was Sam or Sam and Casper's driver or their driver kicked them out. I don't know. I heard the story because they came back and started complaining about how someone was complaining about how they were creepy, and it is creepy. Don't ever fucking get in a cab and follow people. That's just weird. But then later Louis Cole comes out and we're like, you're friends with Sam, why did he do that? And Louis was like, yeah, it's weird because, excuse my British accent, but he's like, yeah, it's weird because, this is me not talking in a British accent. Yeah, it's weird because he's really antisocial, but it wouldn't seem like he is because he's so outgoing in his videos. But he really does not like people, which is weird because I think you guys are coming to these events for us and we're coming to these events for you, so the least any of us could do would be to meet as many as you as we can. And I did notice that Louis was the one meeting the most people, so he really stuck by his words of advice, I noticed, which I admire about him. And we had even more of a casual conversation than we did with JC. But there was a bigger group of people with us, and And it wasn't as intimate, but it was still really fine because we talked to him about pennyboarding. We talked to him about how he doesn't throw up when he eats those disgusting things that he eats, about how soft his dreads are, about really, really random things. And then we had hugs and we took selfies, and he was like, "I'll be out later, guys. Bye." He goes back in. More time passes. The people that were there to see Sam and Casper, and then we leave. And then it's just the four of us and the security guard again. And then Louis comes out with JC and a couple other people, and they just like skate away on their penny boards. And people were like, "Wait, can we take selfies?" And they were like, "Sorry, we really have to go." And I mean, I felt bad, but I just felt special because I got to meet them. But yeah, so we're waiting there, and my friend and I were like, we refused to leave until we met Joey Graceffa, because I've watched Joey since 2011, which is before the majority of his fans started watching him, because that was around the 100,000 subscriber mark, I think, because then a couple months later, around VidCon 2012 time, he had like 250,000. And around a year after that, he had 1,250,000. And he was like, "Yeah, I have like 1 million less subscribers then than I do now." And I was like, I was here even before those 250,000 subscribers. So I was not about to leave without meeting Joey Graceffa. And time goes by, and it comes to 10 o'clock, and my dad texts me and he's like, "This is when you promised me you'd leave. Can we leave now?" And I was like, "No, I need to meet Joey Graceffa just half an hour more." And I was like, "Okay, fine." 10:30 rolls around, and he's like, "Okay, can we go now?" And I was like, "No, we can't. This is really, really, really important to me." So eventually, like 10 minutes later, Joey Graceffa comes out, and I don't start freaking out. I mean, internally I was, but outwardly I was calm and collected. He comes over and talks to me and my 4 friends, and it was just so casual, and it was great. And I was actually supposed to call my friend to have him talk to her because she couldn't be there, but my phone died, and then I went to take my friend's phone to call her, but he had walked away to get into a cab, so I wasn't gonna chase him. I felt really bad though. But yeah, so we had a casual conversation, and we took photos, and then he was like, "Bye guys, have a good night," and we were like, "Bye Joey." And it was magical. It was everything I could have ever hoped for, because Joey Graceffa is just perfect, and I've been in love with him for about 2 years now. So it was great. And I went home and slept like a baby and dreamed about YouTubers and gumdrops.
So high, a snitch in the sky, never told me he'd bring Gilly weed. Just don't stop, please pass me a potion, feel the motion down in Hogsmeade. We're sneaking out.
Yeah, those are my experiences with famous people or very well-known people, because I know YouTubers and star kids aren't considered famous. But yeah, I've had some pretty good luck with meeting people, and I hope it continues.